I like to continue our last check, which is I want to add a time to our game so that, like I said, we don't play the game till infinity. So I like to add a feature which will time us and give us a time to play the game. Whenever that time elapses, the game comes to an end. So I'll start by, so I'll set our variables. Remember last week you said variable is what is a code area or code check that and enables us add our own code and make extra features for our games, make it even more interesting. So I'll start again. Let's come to variables and so we come here, make a variable, that is to make a new variable. And you see here, it says new variable. Let's give it a name. So I like to call it time remaining. So choose a new variable and call it time remaining. Let's say time remaining, yes. And make sure that you're clicking on for all sprites. So when you click for this all sprites, you don't need to add this variable to all the sprites. By just clicking for all sprites here, the code is effective for every other sprite. Okay, so we click OK. And now, so we have it here, time remaining. I'm sure you can see these are the previous variable added, and then we have our time. So to add this now, we say when green flag, let's start with when green flag is clicked. Let's drag this here. It doesn't matter which sprite you're doing it. We already clicked for the variables to be applicable to all sprites. So regardless of the sprite where you're making the variable, it would work for every sprite. So we drag set my variable. Okay. You drag and drop set my variable and drop it here and change it to time remaining. Okay, and we want this to here, we want this to repeat for as many. Okay. So we choose how many times do we want to use. Since because of time, I like to use, don't forget our time rate in seconds in Scratch. So let's use 20 seconds. Let's use 20 seconds. We'll play our games in 20 seconds. So our game start reading from 20 seconds. I want this to repeat. We change, you drag from our control, drag and drop the repeat code and change it to what repeats by 20 as well. Then we wait for 1 second. And then we back to our variables. Remember here, we set it that when the game starts, the game should start at time remaining 20. So we want it to, when after 20, for each second, like I said, we want repeat, wait after 1 second. I want it to keep changing by, what's the time I want it to change? So I want this to change by 1 second, read down. That is in a decrement format. I want it to read down by changing it, reading down for -1. That is from 20, I want it to go -1, -2. So we have 20, 19, and in that format. And when it gets to 0, I want it to what do we want the game to do? So I want, once it is 20 seconds, I want the game to stop. But you can add whatever feature you would want to add. So let's try this new code again. When green flag is clicked, okay, I won't change the variable to, make sure you change the variable to time remaining, because that's the variable we're using. So here is time remaining, set time remaining to 20, and then we'll have here change time remaining by -1. All right, so now let's see what, if you see my time now, it is reading, we have 17 now, and my score is -10 already. We have 11 seconds, 10 seconds, Let's see. And then with this, you can go ahead to say whenever your score reaches 100, it should declare you a winner. Okay. Now my game is over. 30 seconds is over. So what's my score? My score is -7. So I would like you guys to add other features. So you can add that after 20 seconds, or you can use 60 seconds. If you are unable to read the score, you should put, the backdrop should change to you lose. So please, this is my code. If you are still having issues with your code, as this is our final class for Scratch.